If this type of an event occurs again, we're going to have to be more cognizant as a society to this type of vigilance.
The Boston Marathon bombing has the Steuben County Sheriff and State Police working on minor changes for security at a local race. Officers and troopers will continue to focus on traffic safety during the Wineglass Marathon, but talks are scheduled to look into added security measures. Good evening, I'm Renata Steele.
I'm Scott Cook. Thanks for choosing WENY-HD News at 6. Now, the Wineglass Marathon, of course, much smaller than the Boston Marathon, and it starts in Bath, ends in Corning. But the local, state, and county police takes a lot of them to handle that security.
That's right, and WENY-HD's Tanja Rekhi found out those officers and troopers will go into this year's race with some additional duties. Tanja?
Renata and Scott, the Wineglass Marathon is a much less visible event than Boston, but yesterday's tragedy has started discussions to reevaluate safety at the local event.
The Boston Marathon brings out over 20,000 runners and nearly 300,000 spectators, a far stretch from Corning's Wineglass Marathon, which attracts a little under 10,000. But runners felt a universal loss after the bombing in Boston.
Running is kind of the most natural thing we do, you know, put on a pair of running shoes and you go out the door. And that was, attacked yesterday.
Steuben County Undersheriff Jim Allard says law enforcement has procedures they follow with large crowds.
We're a little bit more fortunate down here in that we don't have that sheer volume of crowd. But again, it's everyone being vigilant, not just law enforcement, but also the folks in the crowd and the people that are watching.
At last year's Wineglass Marathon, there were at least 30 law enforcement officials on hand. Now that includes officials from local police departments, the Steuben County Sheriff's Office, and also state police.
This year, their approach is a little bit different.
And what we try to make sure is that we have everything covered for a traffic standpoint so that they can run the run safely. Now with the recent events, obviously we're also going to have to assess with the state police and other agencies.
Undersheriff Allard says police agencies will meet soon to reassess the number and duties of officers on hand this year.
Local runners are changing their Facebook profile pictures to running shoes to honor people who died and suffered. Tanja Rekhi, WENY-HD News. Scott?